All right, man. Here we go. I got Lance Lynn in the house today. Lance, welcome to the Lion's Den, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having
It's been affectionately dubbed the Lion's Den, man. You know what I'm saying?
me.
So I don't know what you think about that, Big Papa. You know what I mean?
We'll see what I got. See if I can handle it.
Oh man. So, hey, first of all, I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited to have you here for a couple of reasons. I think that people like yourself who are contained, reserved, observant, and just go about your business. I think that you have a unique insight that a lot of people don't have, and so I'm really excited to just kind of to peel back the layers, man, of some of like how you go about your business, man. So before we start, man, like just tell us a little bit about home, family. Shout out to your hometown. You know what I'm saying? Like just tell us a little bit about home, man.
No, I grew up in Indiana, a small town west of Indianapolis. That's a lot bigger now. And then live in Tennessee now. I got two daughters and a wife. So we're doing our thing, and everybody's good, healthy, and having a good time. So that's what it's
Nice.
all about.
You outnumbered, bro.
Oh, I know.
You
That's
outnumbered.
usually how it goes. That's usually how it goes.
That's awesome, man. Obviously, man, congratulations, man, on all the success that you've had this year pitching, man, with the All Star nod, man. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, as you look at the game of baseball, kind of coming up, even now, man, like who in your mind would you consider the gold standard of pitching? Who has inspired you?
I mean, I can't point at one. I remember when growing up, you watch guys like they. I just love the way people competed when you watch Roger Clemens,
Hmm.
Kurt Schilling. Those guys compete, and it looked like they always had the desire to win, no matter what, however they felt that day. And then it kind of grew from there. And then I got a little older, and I got in the Cardinals system. And then I was fortunate to have some good guys there with Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, Kyle Loesch, Jake Westbrook, and then we got John Lackey came over for a couple years, so I was able to kind of take a little bit from all of them and
Hmm.
see how they go about their business. And everybody did it a little bit different, but everybody, when it came time, was in between the lines. Nothing mattered except trying to win the game, no matter what you had that day. And that's all I tried to take from any of them.
That's awesome. I mean, you just dropped some big names there. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's
got
a
lucky early on in my career, that's for sure.
yeah, man. That's good company, man, to learn from. When you compete, when people watch you compete, it's fierce, it's dogged, it's intense. It's funny because some people, I've heard some announcers refer to you like as a bulldog. You know what I'm saying up there. Where does your desire, where does that truly come from?
Uh, my dad taught me early on, if you're gonna do something, you're out there, you're doing it for a reason,
Mm.
and there's no his way to put it is there's no half-hearted effort. If you're gonna be half-hearted, then we don't have time for that, because there's no reason to go out there and do anything unless you're not gonna be all in all the time. And being all in all the time isn't about yourself either. It's about your teammates and doing whatever you can to do to help them win that day. Whether you're having a good day or not, it doesn't matter. But there's something you can do to change the outcome of the game if you just always stay in tune and always keep doing the best you can do.
So dad instilled that in you.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
yeah. If you were playing the game to win,
Yeah,
it wasn't for yourself. It was for you and your team to win, no matter what. That was why you play the game.
that's awesome. So when you look at like our childhoods, right? Our childhoods impact us, whether we agree, disagree. As you reflect back on your childhood, right? What is one good and one bad, right, that you took from your childhood in terms of what, man, like this happened, didn't really like it, but I learned from it, or this happened, and it actually springboarded me into a different way of thinking, a different way of going about my business.
I'd say what kind of like launched me into knowing that as a young age, is knowing that this is what I wanted to do, and I got a chance to do it. I was 12, and I had the luxury of being a part of a Little League World Series team out of my hometown, and those are hard to do,
Wow.
especially from a small town in Indiana. And to see how we did it, and then we didn't have the success there, and me personally didn't have the success I wanted to, and then all of a sudden something clicked. It's like, I'm not gonna lose, or I'm not gonna have failure again where I don't give it everything I got. And not to say I didn't give everything I had, but I knew that there was more in there,
Hmm.
and so that kind of pushed me to just like, I'm gonna be good at this game. And I got lucky that I was God gave me talent, and He gave me a big frame,
Hmm.
and He gave me this. So I was like, I just put it all into that, and I was like, I'm not gonna mess it up. I'm not saying I didn't do things that kids do growing up, but I always knew, and I always was always doing what I needed to do baseball wise to be the best I could be. And then that also, like, when you are a kid and you see these guys on TV, like myself, you're like, man, that looks awesome. That looks like something I want to do. And then my family was always scraping by and doing everything I could just to pay the next bill and this and that. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I got to find something that where I can be successful. And then my best gift was baseball. So why not give it a go and put it all out there and give it everything you have? And I got lucky. But it's also, you get lucky, but you got to have some luck in this game, but you got to try. And you got to do everything you can every day to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity to succeed. And I was able to do that. And, I had the backing of my family to help me for sure. But, it's also one of those things where, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for some of the stuff that we had to deal with growing up either.
So the good and the bad kind of parlay.
They were all one. It felt like it was like one big thing. It's like, this is going to be my good, and this is also going to help me get out of the bad that you see growing up. You don't want to, you don't. Yeah, I grew up in a single wide trailer, and I was like, man, I got the ability to pitch and play this game. Why not see what I can do with it? And like I said, you see guys on TV, you're like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
And then it was like, no one in my family told me I couldn't, and everyone just kept helping me get a new glove or a new bat, and that was my thing, and all the whole family helped me do it, and now I'm here.
Wow, man, we could just stop the interview right there and just open that up, because that's powerful, man. When you look at what you just said is resonates, and what I want to do is I want to ask you, at what age would you say that, man, like, you made that resolute commitment and that decision, to use your words, like, man, I got a shot. This is my best gift. At what age was that clear to you?
I say once I got into high school. My dad's 5'10", so once I grew past 5'10", and I just kind of kept growing, and all of a sudden I'm 6'5", and I was a decent athlete, and then I just, one of those things where we would go to tournaments and you start like traveling out of state and seeing how you compare to other kids and this and that, and you're like, no, I can do this.
I can do this.
It's
That's
like
awesome.
You just, and then it's like, okay, now what's gonna set me apart from them? And then by me, like, my desire to win and do everything I could to help the team win made me the best player I could be. And then that's what it was all about, trying to win every game you played, and then next thing you know, you're doing everything you can to help the team win. That makes you the best player you can be too. So
that's great, man. So when you look at it, a lot of people poured into you, right? Let's get the next glove. Let's get Lance to to this location. Let's get him from A to B. You know what I'm saying? Because they obviously saw something in you. Major League Baseball, huge platform. You know what I mean? What do you think is your responsibility, if any, to others, to your community, to the game? What is your responsibility, given this huge platform that you have? How would you answer that?
I'd say everyone's different, how they want to go about this platform. For me, as I'm not out there, look at me in the media or anything like that. I try to go about my business as professional as I can, because for me, is you show up every day and you give everything you got for your teammates, and then by doing that, you're taking care of your family and yourself, and then next thing you know, everybody's in the same realm of trying to compete to win, and that's what it's all about to me. And when it comes to the community and all that, I try to do camps for kids and stuff like that didn't have that don't have the luxuries of parents don't have the money and stuff like that. So we try to give camps and help as much as we can. But I'd say for me, it's still a work in progress on what I can give back. I don't even think I've scratched the surface of it yet. You try to think about things and do that, but going back to the hometown and stuff like that's something that's going to be future plans. So when you can really invest fully in it, I'm not one to like say, okay, hey, I want to do this, but I'm gonna have a friend do it or something like that. So I'm gonna do everything I can to play for as long as I can, and then when it comes down to that, it's gonna be invest my time and my effort and as much as I can give to be fully into it. That's what that's gonna be the next chapter after I'm done playing, is try to do as much as you can there, where I want to be fully invested in something that I'm doing, instead of being like, oh well, look at me do this, because I find that that's an easy way to do it, instead of being like, all right, when I can fully invest all my time and all my efforts into it, then I can actually truly make an impact the way I need to, instead of making a little bit here and there. You try to, but when I can make a full effort, it's when it's going to be time to do what I need to do.
So I mean, just listening to you talk, I mean, it's very apparent that you're a very present person, and you put your heart, mind, and soul in the thing that you are doing, and that's something that you're looking forward to doing when you're done.
In this
man.
game, you can't you don't know how long you're going to play, so you try to put everything you can into that, and then when you're done doing that, you try to put everything you can into your family life, and taking care of everybody there, and then when it comes time to where I feel like that all that's done, then it's the next step of taking care or doing as much as I can to help as many people as you can after that, and then it's just a slow process, and and then you got to find things that you truly are passionate about too, because there's so many things out there, especially with charities and this and that, to help people, and then I'm a big on helping kids that are maybe don't have the assets that other kids have that they need to, so that's going to be my next step after baseball, and then it's just finding the right or I'd say the right platform, but the right time and the right people and the right things that I can do to where I can get exactly what I want to accomplish with, and be fully involved, and not have to, I've never been one to try to put my responsibilities on other people. So that's kind of my thought process, is I'm going to take care of the responsibilities I can, and then when I have more time to take care of the other responsibilities I want to do, I'll be able to do that.
That's great, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that, man. When you going forward, I got a question for you. So, what would you say is the biggest? I know you're not scrolling, what I'm saying, social media, and trolling.
I don't any of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, which makes this question even better, because I would love to, and I think I know what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. What do you think is the biggest misconception, right, about people, or about Lance Lynn, from people who don't know you?
So you would say that the people who don't know me see one thing they see I could say a big angry person playing a game, right? And it's just that's the way I was taught to compete, and to my desire to win. At no point is it do I want it to be negative towards anyone else or anything like that. That's just my fire. My fire is, and sometimes it gets a little loud with a roar here and there, but man, I love competing, and that's what this game's all about. And then you see me like that, and then if you know me off the field, I'm very laid back, don't say a whole lot, kind of reserved, and take a lot in. People don't think I'm paying attention to a lot, but I notice a lot of things, pay attention to a lot of things, and because that's how you learn too.
Yeah.
If you're so into your own world and what just self-absorbed, you're not going to pay attention to what's going on around you. And if you don't pay attention to what's going on around you, things are going to pass you by. You're going to miss opportunities to learn things and grow more. And so that's what I try to do. I try to take everything in and learn something new every day, without and then without missing anything, and then try to slowly incorporate things in my life and game, and anything that you can to make yourself a better person, player, teammate, friend, any of those things. But if you don't take anything in and try to learn stuff from people, you're just going to be the same old thing, and then next thing you know, you're going to get passed by, or this and that. So if you're not evolving in life, whether it's work, personally, this or that, things will pass you by, and you won't better yourself. So I find that the best way to better myself and all that is to take as much in as you can every day, process it, and then push the bad out, bring what you see that's good, and try to incorporate it in your life, and go from there.
That's great, man. And you actually stole some of my thunder, because this is I was going to ask you this question later, but I want to ask it to you now, because you just hit it on the head. So you said something. You said, I take a lot of stuff in, right? And if you don't take stuff in, you're not learning. You're missing opportunities to learn, right? So this leads me into the introvert extrovert conversation. Some people think that extroverts are better than introverts. They make better leaders, right? Because they're vocal and because they can take charge and they can lead and they can motivate. Whereas, you know, one of the things that I find to be true is that introverts, like you said, they're taking more in because they're not using their energy talking. They're using their energy listening and they're using their energy watching. I would love for you to just talk about that a little bit.
For me, I think there's when you talk about leaders, there's different forms of leader. I don't think there's one way to lead ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a team of 25 guys. I think every single guy at some point can give us something in a leadership way that could help everybody. But you have to be able to try to understand where they're coming from and what they're doing. So I find that if you can take it in, then you can learn from it. But if you're always say wants to be the vocal leader, which there's times to be vocal. Mm-hmm. There's times in my life I've been the vocal leader, and you have to be because that's what the occasion needs. But if you're always jumping straight to being the vocal leader and this and that, has a tendency to, I think that you lose the ability to be able to take in what's around you and take in other people's thoughts and processes, and it's more about maybe yourself than the whole group, and that's where you gotta be a little bit of both, because if you're one to just push and lead by being loud all the time, most likely you're just pushing your agendas and not the group's agendas. So mm-hmm. if you don't take in the group's agendas and what they're thinking and what everyone's thought process is, then you're not going to have the ability to truly lead everybody because you're not paying attention to everyone and you're not learning from everybody.
Man, that's well said. That's well said, man. From a psychological perspective, when you compete, you're going against the best in the world, right? You've had a heavy workload this year, man, and it's been you've just been just churning out like innings and quality outings, right? How do you get yourself into the zone, right? How do you get yourself into the ultimate performance state? How do you do that personally?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a process. I think I've learned over the course of my career, it's changed quite a bit. Like we said, like you got to evolve. Early on in my career, as a young kid, I could literally go touch my toes, pick up a baseball, and go compete. Like that was it. Like
that was the warm up.
You versus me. Here we go. Let's see what we got today. And then they're turned into a proper warm up, mm-hmm. and then a proper like. You've got your video, like everything's different now. It's like I would say from my first start of my career to my last start, it's like I have a totally different warm-up routine and everything, and that's the process of learning your body, mm-hmm. learning the game, processing the information that we get now, because we get more information than we ever have on hitters and yes. everything. So you have to be able to learn to retain these things, and by learning to retain them, you learn to change your routine so it helps you retain these things, and maybe it takes your routine takes a little bit longer, but it's also giving you the chance to process things a little slower instead of trying to jam or trying to cram for that test right mm-hmm. at the last mm-hmm. second. So it's a 5-day routine of doing things to get ready for the next one, and then that gets me that mentally prepared to be like, you did everything that you had to do to prepare for this game. So all you have to do, you go out there and you show out. You just compete as hard as you can, because when you go out there and you did all this preparing, when the game starts speeding up on you, you can stop it because you're prepared. You spend all week preparing for that hitter or this hitter. So when things happen and things start going a little fast, you can slow them down because you know what? I know this. I've been spending the last 3 days going over this in my mind. So I went over the whole situation in my mind. If this guy was on or that guy was on, and I was in this count or that count, who's on third, who's mm-hmm. Who's at the plate. All those things have already gone through my mind, and then so next thing you know, you can make the pitch. But if you don't go through those things, early on in my career, things would speed up on me, and then you're like, okay, well, and then next thing you know, you try too hard. When you try too hard, things mm-hmm. just kind of go crazy, and then next thing you know, the game gets faster, mm-hmm. and then next thing you know, you look up and you're like, what just happened? I don't even remember throwing that pitch, or I don't remember and then now it's like, I remember what pitch I threw, who I threw it to, and why I threw it, and then, and then you slow the game down, and then that's that's how I've learned to teach myself to be the most prepared I can be, but also learn to compete as hard as you can without trying too hard. But you're trying as hard as you can, but you're also trying in the smartest way you can because you know everything and you're already ready for it before it even happens.
I mean, you just hit on a bunch of psychological principles. Like, I don't know if you know, I don't even know if you know you did it. I mean, you hit on preparation, arousal regulation, visualization, contingencies. I mean, you hit on all of those. So you're saying that in order for you to get into the zone, your secret weapon, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, your secret weapon is preparation. And then when you see it in real time, you're like, yo, dude, I've been here.
Yep.
Turn down, turn up.
Yep. See it, feel it, trust it. Let it ride.
And show out, baby.
Yep. Show out.
I love it, man. I love it. And so yeah, I don't know if you're over here reading my notes, man, but you stole my next one. So I was gonna.
Acapella.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, man. So how do you regroup? So I'm in the game. You're in the game. You're pitching. Things are going well. You hit a little snag. How does Lance Lynn regroup? What is the thing that you do, and what are the words that you tell yourself? Like, how do you go about that?
I mean, there's a couple different things. There's times where I get hard headed out there because but the game is telling you to do it one way, but you know that you were ready to do it this way. It's like, so you gotta be like, all right, you gotta trust what you see instead of being hard headed. And I've been told I'm hard headed quite a few times in my life, but it's also made me a pretty darn good player.
Yeah.
So that's the finding the fine line between the two. Then the other thing is like, you got to say a deep breath and get yourself out of the inning. What can I do to make the next pitch? Or it's like, hey, this is going on, but that doesn't matter because I'm only as good as my next pitch. And it's like, where's my next pitch going to be? Well, this guy doesn't like this, and this. I'm going to exploit him with this, and I'm going to get out of here. Then you go into the tunnel. You do what you need to do to regroup. Everybody's different. For me, I like to blow off a little steam, whether it's just, self-talking to myself for making a bad pitch or not executing what you need to do, and then you go. Like, sometimes I'll go change shirts and do all that in between innings just to like get that out of my mind. That last inning didn't matter. It's done with. You're only as good as your next inning, next hitter, next pitch. And that's how you gotta. If you live in the past, it'll eat you up, and you're not. And the future is gonna smack you in the mouth.
Dang,
is the way I see it.
Hey, man, I don't know how you're over here dropping gems, bro. Y'all better be listening, man. Y'all better be listening, because you dropping gems. He's giving you the secrets right now, man. Hey, what's the thing that pisses you off the most, man?
Losing, and especially when you know that you can. When you, I guess it's for me when I don't do as well as I think I should. I feel like I'm letting my teammates down. I'm letting my family down, and I'm letting all the people that gave me this opportunity to play the game. So when you do lose, you have to realize that that's part of it, and you can't let it eat you up. But you also have to let it fuel you going into your next one, because this game you can only play it for so long. So you use that fire of not the fear of failure is a word, but I don't feel that fear. I'm always looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, like, you know what, I got another opportunity to prove why I'm here and what I'm capable of. But I don't want to lose. So how am I not going to lose? What can I do not to lose? Because I don't want to let my teammates down. I don't want to let my family down, and that's why I'm playing this game. Is I love playing like at 25 brothers that I can go play the game with.
Yeah.
And I get to go home to my family, and I get to provide for them, and that's what it's all about. And if you do everything you're capable of, you can look yourself in the mirror at night. So it's just doing everything you can, so when you look yourself in the mirror at night, you know you left it all out on the field for your people.
That's great, man. That's great. What do you think? If you're being 100% like vulnerable, like what do you think the game of baseball is missing right now, and how do you fix it?
I'll tell you what. I came in to this game. I'm starting to feel old, and it's crazy. I'm only 32, but it's starting to get the fun factor. I think there's a fine line between playing the game the hard way, having fun, and also disrespecting your teammates and the opponents, and I find that there's a lot of selfishness
Mm.
in the game more than I've ever seen. And people want to call it, oh, he's just enjoying it, this and that. There's if you are if you are there for your teammates and the people in the clubhouse every day and are solely there for them, I find that the selfishness will go away. Everyone's worried about their numbers, this or that. I mean, I was taught to play the game. If your team won at the end of the day, we're good. So that's all that matters. I think there's too many people in this game that when you look at a loss, it's like, well, I went 3 for 4, so we're good. It's like, no, a team lost. Everybody's got to be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what can I do to be better? Well, just because you went 3 for 4, there might be a teammate that you can help with when you're hitting. How am I gonna? How this guy's struggling off this guy? What can I? Maybe there's something I can, there's some key that I can give him about a pitch or this or that. Or if a pitcher's struggling, it's like, hey, I've had success pitching this way, but you have this arsenal, so maybe try this or this because that might be a way that he can get that guy out. And it's just like you can't sit there and be like, oh, I did my job.
Yeah.
It's a team game. It's the most individual team game there is, but when it's all said and done, it's a team game. If all 25 guys are clicking and you're all helping each other out and not being selfish and worrying about your own numbers, then everybody's going to play better. So I would say that's the thing that's most frustrating is there needs to be more we instead of me in this game. And I think that's part of some of the reason nowadays is there's so many showcases and this and that and things like that. And that you don't just go out and play the game anymore. You're all worried about. There's so many numbers out there that people throw around now and stuff like that, which I understand that's how you become a better player and that's how you help people win. But there's always the ability to do the right thing, play the game the right way, and do everything you can to help a teammate and help yourself to where we can be the best team we can instead of me being the best player I can be. But if you are in the we category, you're going to be the best player you can be.
Yeah.
That's the way I've seen it.
Man, this is just gold right here, bro. This is gold, man. I'm gonna switch gears for a little bit as we get ready to close. So let's step outside of baseball to the most important thing, your family, right? What is the greatest gift that you think that you can leave your children? What's the greatest gift that you intend to leave your children?
That's changed so much in my life because I came from a family that had to scrape by a little bit. So it's like my whole like growing up, you're like, man, I just don't want my kids to have to worry about clothes and shoes and food, stuff that I was worrying about growing up. But you didn't know any better. So I was like, man, I want them to be able to I want them to be able to be kids and like. But now it's like, okay, all right, what can I teach them now? Because that's not it either. So it's like, all right, well, what was I taught? I was taught to work hard and, push for your dreams and try to be the best human and whatever you're doing, be the best that you can be at it instead of be okay with being mediocre and just getting by and all that. So I think if I taught anything, most of my daughters is learn how to be a patient, reliable person, a trustworthy person that will do everything they can to be the best that they can be at everything. And if they do those, they'll be successful. That's my thought process. And and that's what it's like. But they're like, hey, well, how do you do that? I was like, well, I love my little girls and I pretty much spoil them to death. But I also you have to teach your kids these things, or next thing they know, they'll be entitled.
Yes.
And think that everybody owes them everything and this and that. And I don't want that. I want my kids to be like, okay, my dad did this and he worked his butt off at this. I enjoy doing this and I'm going to do everything I can to be the most successful I can be at it. And I'm going to try to learn as much as I can. I'm going to try to help as many people as I can along the way. And if you do that, you're going to be a successful person.
That's I mean, you can't even, you just nailed it, man. You can't say it any better than that, man. I think that you said patient, reliable, trustworthy, and what was the other thing that you just said?
Work ethic, or what I say, hard worker. Or, yeah. So if you're just trying to be all those things and you're doing everything you can to be successful, you're good. You're probably going to be successful.
Yeah, I mean those are traits that, quite frankly, not a lot of young people have these days.
The other thing is when things go bad, be resilient. That's all. Don't let them get you down. Just you got to keep fighting.
That's great, man. That's great. I'm gonna get you out of here on this, man. When there's two more things I got for you. So when Lance Lynn, right, when he's pitched in his last game, the people will say this about Lance Lynn.
If they say
Fill in the blank, yeah.
every time that he took the ball, he left it all out there, and he left everything he had out there. There was nothing like after every game I left it all out there. There was nothing. There was no looking in the mirror saying I didn't give it my all tonight. No, I think I give my all every time out there. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was ugly, but it was all left out there and everything I had that night, and that's all it's about.
That's great, man. So this is the last question, man. You have a room full of people, and you are given the mic, and you can encourage them with whatever has been on your mind, whatever has been on your heart lately, as they come up and they traverse their professional careers. What are you telling them, man?
I would say, no matter the hand that you're dealt growing up, or where you were born and raised and all that, that doesn't define you. You define you, and how you go about your business and how you want to be perceived is based on you, not your family, not your past, not anyone else. So you make your own, make people look at you the way you want to, and that's however you want it to be. But your past and all that doesn't define you. How you go about your business every day and who you are and what you show people and how you are with people is what it's all about. So just because you were maybe dealt a bad hand early on in life doesn't mean you can't be successful. It means you might have to work a little harder, but that's what's going to make you one heck of a person once you get through it, and just keep having that resiliency to push and be the best you can be.
That's awesome, man. Hey, tremendous insight. I feel like I learned a lot. I can't wait to go back and cut this up, man, and listen to this, man. Hey, Lance, thank you again, man. Would you do the honors, man, of closing the session out?
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. What we got? We ding that?
Right here.
All right, let's do it.
There it is.